Page 52, and the lesson today deals with reasonable answers. Another problem-solving tool that we're going to use when we tackle word problems. We need to determine whether or not an answer is reasonable. Another way of saying or asking ourselves if it's reasonable is asking ourselves what? Does the answer what? Alexis? Close enough to the real? Well, we got to be careful that we don't cross over into estimation. Does the answer that is either given or that we came up with, does it make sense? Does it make sense? And really for today, it's just going to force you to really pay attention to what you write down. I mean, so oftentimes do we write down an answer and then we are just so happy that the problem's over that we move on without thinking twice. We are gone. We are out of there. We are moving on. Because the sooner I can finish, the sooner I can do something else. This method just says, hold on a second. Let's just make sure we know what we're really talking about. So the best way I always think is just to kind of dive in and just use some examples. So page 52, try these. Number 1, there were 187 people at the first performance, 234 at the second, 212 at the third, 176 at the fourth, and 205 at the fifth. Amy estimated that about 1,000 people attended the 5 performances. Now, we need to determine whether or not Amy is accurate. Now, sometimes we may use estimation as a tool if the problem calls for it. So there were 5 performances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first night, 187. Or first performance, 187. Second performance, 234. Third performance, 212. 176. And finally, 205. All right. Now, Amy estimates that we had about 1,000 people there in all, over the 5 performances. What are we going to do to decide whether or not she's close or it's a reasonable answer? Eli?
Add it all up together.
We could. We could add it all up together. It's a possibility. But sometimes we might be doing more than what's being asked. Liam, let's estimate first. Let's round first and determine whether or not, right? So 187, we could easily round to 234. So 200 times 5 is 1,000. Is that a reasonable estimation?
Yeah.
Sure it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be exactly 1,000 because she uses that magic word. No, she never says estimate in the problem. About. About. Good. Number 2. Small banners cost $15 each. Big banners cost $24 each. There are 2 boxes of each size banner with 12 banners in each box. Joe said that the cost for all the banners in the boxes is $78. Is that reasonable? Okay. So here's number 2. What information would be important for us to know? Small are 15 each. And the big are 24 each. We have a box of each, and in each box are how many? 12. So We need to find out how much each box is, and then we got to add them together. So the first one, the small, let's go 15 times the 12, 10, 30, and 180. That's just for a box of smalls. Can I stop there, or do I need to finish? He says that the cost for all the banners in the boxes is $78. Right. How much do I say just the small box costs? 180. He says that both boxes together cost 78. Yes. I'm already way over. And is the big box going to be more than the little box?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're $24 each, not 15. So just to see, that's 288. So 200 roughly plus 300, we're looking at something just a shade under 500. So he's not even just like a little off, he's like way off. Okay? Way off. Try number 3. Notice that we didn't do a lot of this stuff in our head. We put a lot of this stuff down on the board, which you can do in your notes. Okay. Number 3. The 216 Minutemen will take buses from Lexington to Concord to perform. Each bus holds 48 Minutemen. Fran divided and said they need 4, remainder 24 buses. What operation are you using? Division. They already said so. So you're going to take that 216 and divide by 48. This is the total number of Minutemen. This is how much each bus holds. Our quotient will tell us how many buses they need. How many times 48 into 216? If we were to estimate 50 into 200, we probably start with 4, right? Plus, they said we need 4, so you might as well test the 4. 32, 192. Okay, so it is 4, and 24. Is that a reasonable answer? Frank? No! Why? But this, as it stands, would be reasonable, right? I would answer yes. However, you bring up the first thing I thought of when I saw this. This might be the poorest question that they could give you. How many buses are you going to need to get all the Minutemen from one place to the next, Frank? You're going to need 5. You're just going to only have half of that 5th bus full, right? Good. As long as you understand that. But if I were answering this, Frank, I would just say, yeah, you know what? She said 4, remainder 24. That's what I came up with. Reasonably, yes, she's right. We'll assume, we got to be careful when we assume, but we'll assume that they'll take care of those other 24. How many have you got? Yes. So, all right. 4. The local cable station made a video of the performance. One copy of the tape costs $7.65. Tim gave the station $10 and expected to get $3.35 back. Well, what do we do? No, not mental math. Actual math. What should we do? Desmiana. 765, yes? Okay, if I've got $10 and I spend $765 on one of these videotapes, remember I need to put down the zeros there because I'll need something to borrow from. All right, so 10 is 5, 9 is 3, is 2. Is it reasonable to think that they'll get 335 back? No. No. You get 235 back. Okay. I had to take. I had to, if I was going to take from here, I had to also take from there. Worksheet 2-9. And the redo is page 55. Set E, numbers 1 through 6.